And welcome everyone to the Riverside County Board Brief. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we give you a brief look at what took place during today's Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting. We had one presentation during the meeting today, and it was a very emotional one. Let's take a look at the video from earlier today during the board meeting. It was for Deputy Darnell Calhoun. The deputy was shot and killed while responding to a domestic violence call on January 13th in Lake Elsinore. Today, during the meeting, Calhoun's wife, Vanessa, who is expecting, and their two young sons, also in attendance, along with Sheriff Chad Bianco, and of course all five of the supervisors, flanked by other family from Deputy Darnell Calhoun. Again, a very touching and emotional presentation, and still very fresh in our minds here in Riverside County. Sheriff Chad Bianco had a chance to speak, and Supervisor Karen Spiegel brought it before the board. So let's hear from both Supervisor and the Sheriff about Deputy Darnell Calhoun.
We are all at a loss. The loss that this family is suffering is overwhelming. When we get into this line of work, certainly there is that opportunity or that circumstance that we may be placing our lives in jeopardy, and sometimes that the possibility that we may lose our lives is there, but that is not something that a family or as an individual thinks about when we go to work. We don't think that as I'm answering this call, when I'm trying to help someone, as I'm trying to get there to intercept and to diffuse and to stop that chaos, that my family is going to suffer for it.
And I think that's one thing this community has to make sure that we do, and that is continue to say his name, continue to share memories, because if we don't, then his life will be forgotten. And there's one thing we have to do, is never forget.
The memorial for Deputy Darnell Calhoun during the board meeting today. Now let's switch gears. One of the items pulled for discussion was about First Five fundings. Take a look at some video as we see Tammy Graham. She is the Executive Director of First Five Riverside County there on your screen left, and Yvonne Swore is the Deputy Director, and they're going to receive additional funding, and this is going to be very big for early care and education, especially for those working parents out there. This will have a tremendous impact on those folks. Let's hear from Tammy as well as Yvonne talking more about what was exactly passed today for First Five Riverside County and how that will affect the residents of Riverside County.
Today, the County Board of Supervisors awarded another allocation of the American Rescue Plan funds for the early care and education workforce. This workforce comes to work every day and supports children and families so they can go to work.
That allocation of $8 million is going to help us reach over 2,500 workers. They'll each get an installment of $2,400 in wage enhancement in their pockets to help support them privately or for their centers or their child care homes.
So very good news for First Five Riverside County. Also some good news for the Department of Public Social Services, as they will be adding a lot more positions to their department to better serve the fine folks of Riverside County, all of our friends and neighbors. We caught up with Director Charity Douglas to talk more about this item, again, which was not pulled. They did not discuss it during the meeting, but certainly will have a tremendous impact on the folks that call Riverside County home.
So 3.39 gives us the opportunity at DPSS to add additional position numbers. And what that helps us with is to recruit and retain social workers. It's very important as we are building our workforce to ensure that we have the flexibility to recruit and retain on an ongoing basis. And it helps us also to assist with ensuring that we're staying competitive and staying in front of what's happening in the workforce in the field at this time. It's really important to ensure that we're continually recruiting social workers who are compassionate, who are skilled, who are knowledgeable, to assist us in supporting seniors and children who are vulnerable in our communities. So this gives us the flexibility that we need to do that, and I'm very grateful for the board's support.
and that is DPSS Director Charity Douglas. And finally, here in this Riverside County Board Brief on Wednesday, January 25th, it's the annual point in time count. Let's take a look at some video from last year's point in time count, and this is very important in terms of counting those experiencing homelessness across Riverside County. More than 1,000 volunteers will be out early tomorrow morning counting those experiencing homelessness in 28 cities in Riverside County and all of our unincorporated areas as well. Volunteers from colleges, universities, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, and the community at large just all getting involved to make sure all those folks are getting counted, because it does help agencies and departments realize how many folks are out there experiencing homelessness and the kind of services we can best help them with. So again, that will happen on Wednesday, January 25th. Last year in particular, nearly 2,000 people experiencing homelessness were counted in Riverside County during the point in time count. Another 1,300, actually more than 1,300, were also counted who are experiencing homelessness while staying in a shelter. So it is a big job, but it's a very worthwhile job. And again, that's on Wednesday, January 25th, the point in time count. We will have more on that on a future board brief. But for this episode, that'll do it. My name is Pep Fernandez. We always appreciate you tuning in, and make sure you give us a follow on our social media platforms so you never miss a future board brief. We'll see you next time.